Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, ES pulled back and tested yesterday's VPOC at 68.5, where buyers were again active and pushed ES back up towards yesterday's high. So that strong uptrend continues to be in play, and heading into the open, our bias continues to be bullish. The main resistance area off the open is going to be the 76.5 to 78.5. As long as we can take this out, ES could be ready to test 86 to 88 and potentially 92 to 94. On the downside, we have pre-market support at 72 quarter to 73 quarter. This is the most aggressive area of support, and holding above it would signal a fairly strong market and could lead to a breakout and continuation. Below that, we have initial support 68 to 70. Ideally, you want to see the market holding this area and not really breaking below the overnight low and below yesterday's VPOC. In the event that we get a strong rejection at 76.5 to 78.5, then we have to reassess as the market's pulling back into 68 to 70, because ideally you don't want to see too much of a pullback from here before the market goes higher. So then it becomes a market read or real-time assessment of how ES is rejecting the initial resistance zone, and that's in the event that it even rejects it. Given the current trend and the strong upward bias, we may not get much of a reaction. We may just go higher into 86 to 88. But in the event that we do get it, then we have to just assess the level of rejection and the type of momentum that we're getting on the downside in order to determine whether the reward to risk is still present to buy 68 to 70. Below 68 to 70, we have support 61.75 to 64 quarter. That's an area where we again have to assess the reward to risk, and it's going to have to be a real-time read to figure out whether it's worth buying 61.75 to 64 quarter. I do anticipate a reaction at that zone, and as long as things are not too weak on the day time frame, from a larger time frame perspective, it makes sense to attempt a long at the support areas. 56.75 to 58.75 is a pretty solid zone, an automatic buy in most instances, and same goes for 49.5 to 52.5, although that's very, very extended, and even if we get a pullback, probably not going to hit 49.5 to 52.5. So if the market pulls back, we're still going to be looking for buying pullbacks at support, but given how strong this market's been, ideally it actually does not pull back, and if anything just puts in a very shallow pullback and continues heading higher into the 86, 88. That's a spot where we could see some profit taking first test, especially if we're going up on lighter volume as we've seen recently. And beyond that, we have some pretty decent resistance at 92 to 94, and then 98.5 to 2100.5 is a range extreme, and it also marks the all-time high. Unlikely that the market will get there today, but that is a big picture resistance area, and if we really continue with this trend, then it is possible that we can test it. But on the day time frame today, 86 to 88 would be the higher odds objective above initial resistance, and 92 to 94 is a potential area that can get tested, although responsive sellers are very likely to be active by then. So those are the main ideas. Heading into the open, we are going to keep the focus primarily on the long side. The only time we'll consider short is if we're seeing clear signs of weakness off the open and just a complete lack of strength. So if off the open the market's trading above yesterday's high or even above the initial resistance zone here, but there's really no momentum behind the move and AD is negative instead of being positive or trending lower, we'd have to see something quite clear to trigger a short. But absent any of that, it's better to keep the focus on the long side in direction of the current bias and be cautious and careful on short setups. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can maintain control, and we'll take it from there.